So it's over for the real estate market, and you shouldn't buy a home right now because a massive crash is coming, is what the mainstream media continues to say, as you can see with these sensationalistic headlines. And let's not forget about the social media crash crew that is still at it with this nonsense.
The biggest real estate crash in history isn't just coming, it's already begun.
The housing market is toast, and sellers are desperately slashing their sales prices.
Zillow is now predicting that home prices are going to go down in over 200 cities across America in 2025.
Foreclosures explode as the real estate market nosedives.
So is the mainstream media right and the content creators out there right, or are they actually wrong? You're about to find out, and I think the answer is going to surprise you coming up. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the US economy, the US real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. So a lot of people think that the real estate market is very overpriced and that we are definitely overdue for a correction or a crash. But here's the thing. What people feel and think is very different from reality. In fact, I want you to take a look at this famous expression right next to me where it says, markets aren't wrong, opinions are. And that's very true, because what people feel emotionally doesn't mean that's what's happening in reality. And coming up, I want to show you a long-term housing price trajectory chart just to show you where home prices were many years ago and where they're likely headed as we look at this historical chart. All right, so let's take a look at this graphic. Take a look at the very top where it says median sales price of a home in the USA. Now, this goes back 50 years, where you can see at the very bottom of this chart, in February of 1975, that's 50 years ago, the median sales price of a home was about $38,000. If we look at the very top, you can see February of 2025, the median sales price now is a whopping $425,000. Now, there's an important reason why I'm showing you guys this chart. Take a look down near the bottom there in that yellow highlight where it says February 2007, $232,000. That was right about the peak of the real estate market. So if you bought right at the peak, right before the big 2008 crash happened, it took from about 2008 to about 2012 for prices to really bottom out over that time period. But take a look right there in that other yellow highlight. In February 2018, the average median sales price was about $285,000. So let's just stop and think about this for a second. If you bought a home back in 2007 at the peak levels at $232,000, and then the market crashed in 2008 and it stayed very low until about 2012 before it started to gain momentum again, it took about until 2018. If you bought in 2007 at $232,000, in 2018, you were back up to about $285,000. So again, the moral of the story here and why I'm showing this to you is, even if you bought right before the crash and then the crash happened, if you held onto a property for a long period of time, at least a 10-year window, you've now made all of that money back and then some, which again goes to show you the trajectory of home prices is always upward, even when we have those corrections and crashes. Now, as frustrated as people are, the data doesn't lie. Now, I know a lot of people want to know what's going on with the housing market currently and not just into the future. So I want you to take a look at this recent article that just came out. All right, so let's take a look at this recent article that just came out from Business Insider. Take a look at the headline at the top there where it says, "Will home prices drop? Expert predictions for the 2025 housing market." So again, even though the long-term trajectory of home prices goes up over that long haul, this is more for the 2025 calendar year and what experts are predicting. So let's take a look down here. There's 3 bullet points that I want to highlight right here in yellow. The first one right there says, housing market conditions may improve somewhat in 2025, but prices are likely to continue rising. The second bullet point says mortgage rates are expected to ease this year, which may help boost demand. And the third bullet point says leading forecasts predict that home prices will increase somewhere between 1.3% and 3.5% in 2025. I scrolled down a little bit deeper into the article here because I want you to take a look at this graphic. On the left side where you can see it says forecast, the left side says Fannie Mae, National Association of Realtors, and Mortgage Bankers Association. Those are the 3 big industry players that are predicting that. You can see right in the middle, 2025, and on the right side, 2026 home prices. So if we highlight Fannie Mae there on the top left and we go right across into the middle, you see 3.5%. That's their prediction of where home prices are going to increase in 2025. On the right side for 2026, they're predicting 1.7%. If we go down into the National Association of Realtors, they're predicting right in the middle there 2% and then 2% on the right side for 2026. If we go down one more notch there to Mortgage Bankers Association, it says 1.3% in the middle and then 1.3% in 2026. Now, nobody has a crystal ball, but when you see these short-term price predictions from these big industry players, the one thing that really jumps off the page is, even though it's a small price increase, maybe 3% or 5%, nobody is predicting or seeing a crash or correction in prices that a lot of people are hoping for. And we all know what's likely going to happen to home prices on that long-term trajectory that I showed in that previous graphic. So again, you don't want to bankrupt yourself trying to buy a home, but what's happening is, as people continue to wait for these big crashes or corrections, it's not likely going to happen, and most average people are going to continue to be priced out of the market because they continue to wait for something that's not really coming to fruition. Now, here in Las Vegas, you can see right next to me that home prices have recently hit a record high, but even more shocking is this new headline that just came out from an article where home prices have essentially doubled since the pandemic here in Las Vegas. And coming up, I want to show you a few examples of Las Vegas homes for sale on the popular real estate platform Zillow, just to show you some of the crazy pricing that's going on here in this city. So now I'm on the popular real estate website Zillow that most of you are familiar with, and I wanted to show you 3 specific examples of Las Vegas homes for sale that actually are no longer for sale. They just closed recently, because I want to show you 3 different types of price points and what the actual closing prices were compared to the original list prices. So let's start with this first one right here. We're going to start right around the entry-level luxury category here in Las Vegas. You can see it on the left side of the screen. This home closed for $1.3 million. It's a 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 3,100 square foot home. But down below, I want to show you the original price history compared to this closing price. All right, so focus your attention down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight. Down on the bottom left there, the date says 8/6/2020. So we're going back about 4.5 years ago, right during the peak of the pandemic and right before real estate prices started to skyrocket. You can see that this home sold for $672,000. But if you look at the date just above that, in that yellow highlight, it says 11/9/2024. So about 4 years later, after real estate prices skyrocketed, the sellers put this home on the market for a whopping $1.38 million. That means they think that the home doubled in value in just 4 years, which is astonishing because real estate prices never do that in such a short time period. They couldn't find a buyer, but if you look right at the top there in the yellow highlight, they did sell the home for $1.3 million. So again, there's a reason why I'm showing you guys this home. Even though this is now considered an entry-level luxury home here in Las Vegas, just a few years ago, this was not considered a luxury home because prices have gone up so much. Now again, the pandemic was definitely an anomaly where prices skyrocketed far beyond any other real estate cycle. But again, even though the sellers did not get their original list price of $1.38 million, they still got $1.3 million, which again goes to the bigger picture that prices continue to go up, especially in Las Vegas, over the long haul. All right, so let's take a look at this second example of what was a Las Vegas home for sale. Now we're coming down in price. You can see on the left side of the screen, this home closed for $780,000. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,100 square foot home. Now, this home closed about 1.5 years ago, but I want to show you the shocking price history down below. All right, so take a look again down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight. Down on the bottom left there, the date says 5/15/2013. So we're going back about 12 years ago when this home sold for just $315,000. Now, if you look at the date in that other yellow highlight right on the top left of it, it says 8/3/2023. That's 10 years later, and this home was listed for sale for $849,000. Now, if you look just above that, they had the pending sale that said $849,000, but it really closed. You can see where it sold for $780,000 as the ultimate selling price. So again, the reason why I'm showing you guys this example is, again, if you look at the long-term home price trajectory, especially in popular cities like Las Vegas, in the last 12 years, this home went from a $300,000 home to almost an $800,000 home. And if you take a look there in the top left right there where it says Zestimate in that yellow highlight, the home has already appreciated from the selling price from about 1.5 years ago from $780,000 to now $838,000, which again continues to show people that home price appreciation, sometimes it's greater than others, but again, the long-term trajectory is upward on home prices, not downward. So again, let's take a look at one more example of what was a Las Vegas home for sale, because this one closed as well. You can see on the left side of the screen, now we're coming way down below the median price point here in Las Vegas. The median home price right now in Las Vegas is about $485,000. So you can see the closing price there on the left side, $453,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,849 square foot home. Now, again, this home did not close recently. It's almost 2 years ago, but there's a specific reason why I'm showing you some of these closings that happened a year or two ago. Let's take a look at that down below. All right, so one more time, focus your attention down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight. Down in the bottom left there, the date says 6/21/2016. So we're going back almost 9 years ago. This home was listed for sale for $285,000. Now, if you focus your attention just a little bit higher up there on the page in that yellow highlight, the date right there says 5/17/2023. So about 7 years later, after the real estate market really exploded, they put this home on the market for $515,000. They weren't able to get a buyer there, so you can see just above it, they reduced it to $499,000, $489,000, $479,000, and then ultimately, as we see right here at the top where it says sold, $453,000. So there's two main takeaways here. Number one, the sellers overpriced this home because they were trying to get a really big number on a home that was actually very inexpensive just a few years earlier. And even though they didn't get that original price point, the second main takeaway is they still made a very substantial profit several years later because, again, prices have continued to go up at all different price points here in Las Vegas. And in fact, I want to show you the estimated market value of this home just to show you how much it's already gone up since it closed about 1.5 to 2 years ago. So take a quick look there in the top left side where it says home value, and then it says Zestimate, $496,500. So Zillow has this home estimated now at almost $500,000, but yet the home sold a little bit less than 2 years ago for just over $450,000. That means the home is appreciated about 10%. Now, again, the numbers can fluctuate a little bit, but again, it goes to the bigger picture, which is what I've been telling you guys about in terms of all different price points, not just here in Las Vegas, but throughout the country. When you hold onto a property for 5, 10, or more years, this is the natural trajectory of what home prices continue to do. Even if there might be a correction or a crash, which I don't think is at all likely, look at the long-term trajectory. The prices continue to go higher. So there are two big reasons why I'm showing you guys examples like this. Number one, there's still a tremendous amount of overpricing going on, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, by homeowners and especially investors that are trying to flip properties and make a large profit. But the second big reason is even if these homeowners and investors don't get that original maximum number that they want for their list price and the price gets reduced a little bit, you can still see how much profit and how much money they are making on these homes because, again, the common denominator through the entire housing market, especially over the long haul, is home prices continue to go up. So before I close out the video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to Thomas. Now I'm going to put Thomas's comments up here on full screen and read it to you, and then come back on the other side and comment on it. So Thomas wrote, I purchased my Henderson home in January of 2023. I now have $100,000 in equity. I've been telling people for the longest time, don't listen to the fear mongers. Buy a home as soon as you can. The longer you wait, the longer you're going to price yourself out of the market. Now, I know a lot of you may not want to hear that, but Thomas is right. You may not make the same kind of equity that he made in such a short period of time, but the longer you wait to purchase a home, the longer it is that you're likely going to price yourself out of the market. Now, again, you don't want to bankrupt yourself. You want to be able to buy a home when you can comfortably do so. But when you look at the long-term home price trajectory, we know that it continues to go upward over many years and many decades. Now, I want to hear from you guys. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I read and respond to all of my comments. I want to know whether or not you think there's going to be a housing market correction or a crash, or do you think that prices are going to stay high or even go higher? And I want to know why you think that. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So right as I was wrapping up the video, I noticed a new housing article that just came out, and I wanted to share the headline with you right next to me. Prospective home buyers are hoping for a recession to bring down housing prices. Now, this unfortunately is the wrong train of thought, because if we have a recession, it's the average person who makes the average income that's likely going to take the biggest hit. And the people with the wealth, the current homeowners, the high income earners, the investors, they're the ones that are going to be able to buy homes when the average person during a recession will not be able to at that time. So again, you have to crunch your own financial numbers, and when you can comfortably afford to buy a home, you should consider doing it, but consider doing it knowing that you're going to hold on to it for the long term, because again, the likelihood is that home price appreciation is going to treat you well over the long term. Now, I know everybody's circumstances are different when it comes to buying a home. If you are thinking about purchasing a home, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of the city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you in the next video.